Hello everyone, I'm Shruti from onco.com and you are watching The Thing About Cancer. This is a show where we talk to people from different walks of life and share their cancer journey with them so that we can enrich ourselves, so that we can learn something from their experience. And today we have with us Kiran Pathak, who's a corporate head, who's the mother of two young boys, and who has shared in her father's cancer journey. And we're going to listen to her and enrich ourselves from what she has to share. Thank you for joining us, Kiran.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you so much for those kind words.
And we'll start off. So your father was diagnosed with cancer, and at that time he was living in the northeast region of our country. So tell us a little bit about your father and about the region.
So I think this is, we pretty much grew up in the Northeast. He's been a soldier, and he's always preferred going back home and working there. So we grew up in the Northeast. He was with the Survey of India. All the maps that you see in the world, so most of them have been gridded by him and his team. And after retirement, he chose to move from the work city and move back to his hometown, which is Silchar in Assam. So he barely moved there 8 months, and then the signs of the onset of cancer started coming. But it is to our misfortune that we did not take them seriously. So my father was 69 when lung cancer hit him. It's been an ongoing journey for me to establish why and why not. But first up, symptoms were very, very scary, and all of us, for all our education, we missed the signs. So it was one lunch, family lunch, and he was struggling to gulp down food. So these are random incidents that happen, to one as a child, like when you stuff too much food in your mouth and you just take water and, you ease the, channeling down. So we probably dismiss that as, maybe dad just loved the food so much or he stuffed it so much and, he was struggling, gulping it down. It happened once, twice, thrice, over, multiple meals. And that was a foodie. So we always casually dismiss, oh, dad, you're eating too fast. After that, the sore throat started coming. So sore throats would stay for 10 days. So the gargle, the cough syrup. And the funny thing is, his brother-in-law was his family doctor. And nobody ever thought of doing a throat swab. And this went on for a year. A week later, the results came, and they were very devastating. He was stage 4 of lung cancer. And when the news hit us, of course, it was disbelief. We children, I have a younger sister and a brother in another city. We children didn't know about it for another week. So here was this old couple trying to come to terms or denying. So let's go for another throat swab. And this is the time when you start not believing, not trusting your own kin. Why would your uncle give you the bad news? So just to keep emotions in check, apparently they went for a second throat swab, and the results were not pretty. That's when the news was shared with us over a phone call, and yes, heads went reeling. My sister took it very badly. My brother thought it was the end of the world. My mother was very innocent that, hey, we can cure him, we can heal him. I think my sister and I dived into the world of the internet reading up, trying to shake off, that it is not the worst. Meanwhile, back home, our family sent him to the cancer hospital. Silchar has a very small cancer hospital. We sent him there to meet the oncologist. And meanwhile, I took his reports and I ran it by another cancer specialist, uncle of a friend in Guwahati. Guwahati has another cancer hospital. The reports were corroborated, like things don't look good, and probably he has just 3 months. The damage was really, really, we detected it very late. So 3 months is all we have.
Issue though about detecting it late with lung cancer specifically. Yes. The signs are so spaced out over a period of time that you take it as part of that person's, body, how the body has adapted to age and all of that. And a lot of caregivers, just like you said, we detected it too late. This feeling somewhere of guilt of why did I not think about this when he was coughing in front of me, when he was having difficulty to swallow, why did this not strike me? Sometimes people from medical background, people like you,
we live with that guilt forever. We live with that guilt forever, so much so that we started hitting out at each other. I think there were moments of weakness when we hit out at our own uncle, saying, "You're a doctor, why didn't you spot it?" And he came to, eat food at your place. You of all people. I mean, you with all your medical knowledge. And it's a sister hitting out at a younger brother. So he was a very resilient guy himself. He came back home. He tried to enjoy every sense of taste. That's a time when you want to eat a lot, but you really cannot enjoy a lot of food. Everything would burn his throat, even if you were eating just a morsel of rice. So food restrictions came about, without a discussion. So there were a lot of visitors coming home with a lot of fruits, and he would just stare at them and, there is so much you can handle. We as caregivers, I don't know if we were thoughtless or we were overprotective. Just like how you see in movies, we want to do a bucket list for him. He did not make it to any of the bucket list. We just have to live out each day very productively and, be ready for the inevitable. Cancer visits. Cancer doesn't spare anyone. Cancer doesn't see any hierarchy, any class, caste. Cancer is very democratic at times. So there are lifestyle habits that we have to change. So, the bad habits that we have to avoid. But over and above that, there are a lot of invisible habits that we have adopted out of sheer convenience. So we read so much content about what induces cancer, even like wearing sunscreen, and we don't know, or eating burnt stuff. Carcinogenic is the word they use. Lifestyle habits are very difficult to change.
But in
we started off with
the fact that the cancer, statistically it is low. Are you saying it could be because of the lifestyle? Is that because you've grown
yes,
up?
Lifestyle habits, yes. A lot of people eat betel nut. Northeast is also one of the largest suppliers of arecanut in the country. So the supari that you get in its raw form or the dried form, it's one of the largest suppliers of areca nut in the country. Now, areca nut has its own religious and social significance. People use it, in pujas, and in the south you would see, supari is like it's an essential ingredient in any of the offerings to the gods, especially for the Hindus. And any place which loves pan, supari is a necessary accompaniment. I have grown up seeing my grandparents from both sides, a lot of uncles and aunts, eat a lot of pan in its raw form and also in its dried form. It is one of the biggest causes of oral cancer, and for lack of better work, or for lack of other forms of entertainment, people also pick up the habit of chewing tobacco. So not the gutka that you see this side, but tobacco is massively sold in the the Bada Bazaar, the big market, the wholesale market, in sheets, big leaves. So people normalize chewing tobacco with pan. That's one bad habit that has it has drilled down to the bone. I've seen children as young as 3 eat pan. Teeth stained. Consumption of lime is very high with pan. There is chewing of tobacco, and of course migration of habits like eating, the chewing tobacco and putting it in the lids of the mouth. Women do it, men do it, which we call kheni in the popular land. So yeah, these are habits you will find pretty rampant. And smoking is pretty fashionable, whether it's a cigarette or the country-made bidi, which is easily available at every mom and pop shop, the hole in the wall shops. So these are habits that out of every 10 people you see 8 of them adopting it. So to find a teetotaler is very difficult.
You've been a crusader of this. You've been talking about how you are changing your kitchen to get rid of things which are carcinogenic. So from what you're doing, can you give us a few tips? Someone like me, anybody who domestic in our kitchens, what can we do?
So I think the first thing you should remove is we cannot live without the microwave. Agreed. So don't heat your food in a plastic vessel for the microwave. Even if your plastic vessel is a Tupperware or it says BPA free. For a microwave, please buy glass vessels. If you have to heat your food, do it in a glass vessel. I would say abolish all forms of plastic from your kitchen, whether it's your masala ka dabba or it's your water bottle. We often tend to leave water bottles, plastic PET bottles in the car. And the car gets heated up, and that's how plastic leaches into the water. And over a period of time, you're actually drinking poisonous water. The plates, let it be metal or let it be your breakable material, but we must get rid of the melamine and the plastic. Also, given the amount of money you spend on stocking up that plastic, and when you dispose it, please do not give it to your maids or your drivers, because I think they are also as much humans as us, and the world doesn't stop with us.
Right. So you were telling us about how it's important not just to get rid of these carcinogens from our kitchen, but while doing so, we should be mindful of who it's going to. Make sure it's not domestic helps and others who are taking it to their homes and continuing the damage there, but to dispose of it more responsibly. Yes, perfect. So Kiran, I'd like to thank you for having
so
shared
much.
your cancer journey with us. And there will be a lot of people, because I have spoken to others who have had parents with lung cancer, and this point has struck me too, where they have said, I wish I had thought about this earlier. So the guilt that as caregivers, I think all of you have this in common, is that because you care so much and you love so much, even if a doctor tells you or anybody tells you that this is how this form of cancer is, and very often nobody finds out till the third or fourth stage. That is the trend. Everybody goes through it. You will hear that, but still it is difficult to disconnect yourself from that and realize that what you have done as caregivers in itself was, I'm sure for your dad, a huge blessing to have his family around him during his last moments. And now that you're speaking to others, others will know that too. And for everyone, whether you've experienced cancer yet or not, for everyone, the message you have given us about how to improve our lifestyle based on what is going on in the Northeast is a really, really important message that everyone needs to hear. And so I'm really grateful to you for having spoken about it, for having shared this with us, because it's something I and a lot of us needed to hear today. So
thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiran. And for our viewers, hopefully next week we'll be back with another guest like Kiran, who will hopefully enrich our lives as much as she has. Thank you so much, Kiran.